Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How are y'all doing tonight? I got my thumbnail is Obama going to rescue Biden? And what is this business of a crash and burn operation? That's why I got that thumbnail. It says they identify as Thelma and Louise. Is it getting that bad that they just might jump off a cliff or drive off a cliff? But anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And I got a couple little videos to play for you, so we'll let people get in the chats and see how everybody's doing this evening. We had a nice interview. I'm going to put a link. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I'm going to put a link to that interview in the description. So by the time this video posts, it should be up there for the interview that we did last night. So, have you all heard this Operation Crash and Burn? And the speculation that, Obama could stop this. He could save Biden. Because don't forget, he's got a pen and he's got a phone, right? He's got a pen and a phone, and he's got his sweatpants, and he's got his basement. So he could save Biden with just, all he's got to do is say, no problem. I declassified that stuff. He had every right to have it because I said he could. So the problem would be solved for Biden, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Don't even want to think about doing it. And I'll get into why that is. A number of reasons, not just one. So we're going to be seeing Obama in the picture. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Quilt. Hi, Robin. How you doing? Bubba. Interesting tidbits. B-Dog. Quilt. Haha. Donna, how are you doing? Mike. Tennessee. Who am I missing? I'm trying to get everybody. These chats, they go by so quick. So I hope everybody's doing good tonight. But anyway, let me get my thumbnail out of the way. And now, to my new viewers, thank you for subscribing. And to the people who've been with me for a while, if I recycle a video or a meme, what the heck, at least our new people get to see it. And don't get mad at me for what Megyn Kelly says about Joe. I didn't say it. She said it. And don't get mad at me about what Obama says about Joe. He said it. I didn't say it. Okay? I'm just playing a videotape. And I hope you all can hear it. So let me know if you all can hear this good, okay? I'll cut my mic off. But this was a month before the paper. We knew the papers got found. They were already found, I believe, when Obama made this statement.
On purpose.
We all know some folks in our lives who we don't wish them ill will. They say crazy stuff. We're all like, well, Uncle Joe, you know what happened to him. It's okay. They're part of the family, but you don't give them serious responsibilities.
I really think that he has no use for Joe Biden. I think he thinks it should still be him. I think he's actually still puppeting that puppet. He's the puppeteer, and he wants people to know it. So,
Megyn says Biden's a puppet, and Obama says you can't give him too much responsibility. Just old Joe, crazy old Joe. That's how it goes sometimes. So anyway. Here's a nice little meme for you. Let me put this one up. There we go. That's a good one. Oh, bummer. AKA, she used to be my girl. 5x5 on the video. Good. Okay. How you doing? Dog Host 84. Welcome aboard. Okay, I'm glad it came. But now, do you see with all this stuff that's going on with hard evidence, all the flimsy stuff. Here, I'll go ahead and play this video. I'll go ahead and play this one because this is every day for years. We heard this about Trump every day. And you don't hear a peep out of what's going on with Biden. But if there's anybody that's a Democrat and wondering what's going on with their party and wondering what's going on with the media, this would be a good thing to see. If you're tuning in, you're curious as to what this show's about.
Good evening. I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, the walls closing in on President Donald Trump.
It feels like the walls are closing in on the White House.
For Trump, though, it must feel as if this is closing in on him.
The walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on the president.
Yeah, the walls are closing in on especially every politician that showed up in that video I just played. And especially the dwarf, the garden gnome that you see in front of you right now. The walls are closing in. So anyway, here's a good one. DOJ. But now Obama, no, I don't think he's going to lift a finger to help Joe. Because if he declassifies that stuff, if he says he declassifies it, he's going to validate Trump. Trump's going to say, see, I told you so. President, you can do that. So he doesn't want to validate Trump. But the other thing is, too, what it would be a possible consequence of those papers being declassified? They would be open to a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA request. And I'd bet you dollars to donuts, they don't want anything that's in those documents to get out. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Well, I got two articles here that popped up. I'll go to this one first. I cut his head off, but it doesn't matter. Probably had a mask on anyway. A White House previews Biden re-election message on 2-year anniversary inauguration. Okay. This Justice Department tells Jim Jordan it won't share information about ongoing investigations. So more than likely, their strategy would be, instead of Obama coming in and helping out Joe, it's going to be sucked up into an investigation where people can't get to it. But let me play you this video, see how many of you all have heard this. And I hope the volume's good, but you'll be able to get the gist of it. So, and I'll show you where I got this. I subscribed to this young man. He didn't have many subscribers, but let me go ahead and play this.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. Look, I don't think they're going to get off my ass about these documents, and I know that there's at least, I want to say, 5 more places that I can remember that they are. Listen, use the red cell phone. Call up Barack and Michelle. Tell them Operation Crash and Burn is a go. Do this immediately, please. All right, love you, pal. Bye.
You think that's real? Operation Crash and Burn is a go. Pick up the red cell phone and call Barack and Michelle. I'll play it again in a minute so you can really listen to it. But as short a video as it is, it's got a lot packed in there. And I'm wondering, did somebody make that video themselves? I'm just here looking to see I had the thumbnail for that young man that did that video. I want to put it up, or I will put it in this description if I can't find it. So anyway, and I subscribed to him. He only had, I don't know how many, not many subscribers. But I tell you, if it is a ruse, it's a really good ruse. That sounds just the way Joe talks to his son. And he sounds like he's under pressure. And to make up something like the name of the operation, which phone to use when they call that would be a very creative person that came up with that. But then again, as we know, the C.I.A. that is their bread and butter. I might have to go out of my studio to find that. But anyway, Trump is hammering away at it. He put this up. I didn't get a chance to put this one up the other day. Biden's brother repeatedly referenced him in private business dealings. People are reminding them that there's a brother involved in all this. And that brings us to the meeting with Tony Bobulinski, who is a member of the highest clearance you can get in the military. I've been over that many times. And you know what clearance that is? It's a single letter, a 17 letter. So anyway, let me play this again. You all listen to what he says about a red phone and if you think it's real or not. And you can get a clip of it and send it to non-believers, I guess you'd say. Let me.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. Look, I don't think they're going to get off my ass about these documents, and I know that there's at least, I want to say, 5 more places that I can remember that they are. Listen, use the red cell phone, call up Barack and Michelle, tell them Operation Crash and Burn is a go. Do this immediately, please. All right, love you, pal. Bye.
So he said 5 or 6 more places that he can think of off the top of his head. So if this is a real video of an actual call from Biden, that undercuts his cuckoo defense. Nikki says she's back. Oh, good, Nikki. Hi, Melinda. So that takes care of Biden's nutso defense, or it weakens it quite a bit. I mean, nobody will sit here and say that he's nuts. But anyway, I'm going to look for that young man. Let me go out of the studio to get it. And I know some people get impatient and they don't want to see details. They just want to keep going with the story. But hey, sometimes things don't end up in my studio as I wish they would. But anyway, that's pretty much. I edited some of it out of there, but that's pretty much the gist of the video. Is that he's thought of more places that he has stashed stuff that they're going to find out about. Get the red phone, start up Operation Crash and Burn. So let's see. I don't see it off. Here we go. Let me add that. Put it here. And as you see, the subscribe is not red. I hit the subscribe button and subscribe. See how easy that is? It's a red button that says subscribe. I was looking at some of my videos and it said 30% of my listeners weren't subscribed. I said, what? So anyway, his name is Johnny. He had 123 subscribers. He's the one that put this video up. Biden to relay message to Obama is on the red phone, okay? We got to give credit where credit is due. Now, if it turns out, you know what? The bad thing about it is, if it's authentic, the media won't report on it either way. Boy, but if this was about Trump, you can bet your bottom dollar that it would be all over the news. So that's what we're up against, folks. That's what we're up against. Let me see. I got another meme here I can put up. Something there Joe said about the documents right here. Or who he is, or why he's sitting in the oval-shaped office. So that's going to weaken his defense. I stole a meme from my friend I did an interview with last night. Like I said, I'll have the link in the description after I post the video. But anyway, he put a meme up, and I said, well, that's nice. Here, we'll see what the Brazil memes look like. When your girlfriend sneaks onto your phone and realizes you're more likely to overthrow the government while riding a dinosaur than cheat on her. And she says, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. So I thought that was a cute little meme. I put it up. So anyway, I'm sure everybody's seen a lot of that footage from Davos. And a lot of it is very damning. And a lot of it has to do with something that we can't say out loud on this platform. But there's a lot of talk of the after effects. I'm just looking at chats here. A lot of talk about the after effects. We got to keep the memes flying like this one on the screen. Experts say they don't know what thing is causing everyone to suddenly collapse, but it's definitely not that one thing. As tedious as it could be, putting up memes is very effective. Load up the meme cannons. And the other thing I got from our friend in Brazil, and in a future interview, I'll get an update. Air Force One, Brazil Air Force One. Okay? This shows where it left Florida and went to an area that is not where Loose Screw doesn't have access to it. Nobody's seen him get on it. Nobody's reporting on it, along with staying in the official residence or conducting business in the proper buildings. Very familiar. So we'll get some updates. We'll get some updates on that situation. But they got their own little version of Monkey Works. You know, they're keeping up with stuff as best they can. Now, I had put up something there about some posts about the 17th letter, right? And I told everybody, if you're curious, just put that @ symbol, the A with a circle around it, Jack, in the search bar. Excuse me, I'm having a drink of my coffee. And see what you come up with. And I read some of the posts. And they were messages, I think, straight to Jack Dorsey. And I said, I thought this situation with Elon Musk buying Twitter, that Dorsey's playing along. And somebody dug up an article from 2019. Let me see. I've got to get some stuff off the screen. Somebody dug up an article from 2019. Trump met with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey at the White House. Now, not a lot of us have heard that. Now, many of you by now have probably heard it, but at the time, that was not widely reported. Trump also put it out in tweets. And how did he refer to it? This is a little fuzzy, but I want to keep it a little fuzzy. Right there it says, this afternoon at the White House with, this is a quote from Trump. Good evening this afternoon at the White House with @Jack from @Twitter. Trump wrote on Twitter. Lots of subjects discussed. And that is what the 17th letter was referring to every time they talked about Dorsey. @Jack. And they were pretty much telling him he better sharpen his pencil and get on board. That was the up, down, and bottom of that. Now, since we just did that interview, I'm gonna go over some stuff real quick. Remember, prior to that interview, I was looking for articles on what was going on in Brazil, right? And I couldn't find anything. Nobody was reporting on anything. I'm going to put this thumbnail up. The reason I did this thumbnail for the interview was there you have two people making presentations at the WEF, right? You see that woman down there on the left and the guy over there on the right. Right when I freeze framed this, they were saying areas of the earth were uninhabitable, going to be uninhabitable. And that's what I did. I made that thumbnail and put the word uninhabitable and put arrows going to Brazil with the intention of getting people to understand that's what's happening in Brazil is tied in directly with this bunch at DAVOS and the World Forum. And I found it interesting that the lady in the black dress was standing right below a map of Brazil right when they're going through this strife. And they basically covered most of the country in red. And I think it's little signals like that I'm keeping an eye on. And I just wanted to explain that thumbnail because the hour went by so fast we didn't really get into the World Economic Forum too much. But as you know, I had my video taken down, and I'm going to be putting up memes that I think may have done it. So maybe this one will get taken down too. I don't care. I do care, but I'm going to put them up. But for right now, this is a speaker at the World Economic Forum. Less is more. Says the world does not need growth or development. You know, can they say that to, people in Africa that don't have electricity or infrastructure to deliver water or help them irrigate their crops? But that's the way they want us all to live, right? And this thing with Jack Dorsey, I think, playing ball. He's put on a white hat. This is the creepo I talked about the other day, but I didn't have pictures to show. Unelected goons want to criminalize opposing views. No one interfere. This is the head creepo of UN. UN chief wants legal accountability for social media platforms that amplify false information. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Anton Guterres, calls for social media companies to face accountability, including legal action. And the clip I had of Elon on Twitter did refer to them trying to send federal agencies after Twitter. He just did post that. So if there can be a nexus found, a nexus between these characters and pushing to stifle free speech and do all the things we all know about, right? Force people or trick people into taking medical treatment they don't need or is bad for them, there's going to be hell to pay. And this is a shot, might as well take a look at him. He's put on a few more pounds. Brian Stelter, he was hosting that panel on disinformation at the WEF. And like I said, he could be a plant, Maybe he's going down there taping things from the horse's mouth. I'm giving him a little bit benefit of the doubt. You never know. But this freak here, oh no, this is big news. This is Saudi Arabia. I want to. In our second interview, I want to go over some of the economic angles of what's happening in Brazil. because they are the first country in BRICS, which has to do with Russia, China, some big players. And I doubt that Putin is going to let things get out of control there. But Saudi Arabia moves to open oil trading to currencies other than U.S. dollars. I should have got my Nixon tape that I played where Nixon made the announcement to the country that we were going to oil backed instead of gold. I caught everybody flat-footed. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. Saudi Finance Minister Mohammed Al-Jadaan said there's no issues with discussing how we settle our trade arrangements, whether it's in the U.S. dollar, whether it's the euro or Saudi currency. So that is going to be a huge challenge, as I have said before, to the U.S. dollar. And Brazil is a big part of it. So we're going to see if that place goes down without a fight or not. And as far as what's going on with Russia, in the economic end of it, they're thinking this. They're saying Putin's going to die at any minute. Everybody wants to throw him out of office because of the disaster in Ukraine. Well, he's getting ready to do an offensive. They're taking their time. They've taken back a lot of the land from the Ukrainian surprise offensive and Russian grain shipments. Okay, fertilizer exports soar. Exports. Okay. Russia sold 10% less fertilizer, but made 70% more in sales last year. Right there it is. Okay, so they're producing and exporting less and making 70% more than what they were. Russia's export of wheat and corn has been as if there is no war. So they're cutting their own throats. Here we got Zelensky. He announced he'd participate in DAVOS to sign reconstruction loans with what? Black and then rock. Zelensky announces he is planning to join the forum in Davos to sign new post-war loans. And we've done some background on that. I'm sure a lot of you in the chats have done some background on it. But if you're new or if you're listening after the live stream, the name of that company right there, right there, yeah, you can see it. Do a little researching on that. And we'll talk about it in the future broadcasts. But I wonder if this is why I got taken down. I played that video. From now on, it's going to be run by we men. Maybe that's why I got taken down. I don't know. I think it might be. No, I'll tell you why I got taken down. This one. Dr. Jill. Biden's teenage babysitter. When Joe began dating her, I'll say. Maybe that's why I got taken down. I don't know. I should quit dwelling on that. Maybe I got taken down because of this. Trump posted that. So I'm sure he was just picking on him and joking around. Oh, I'll tell you, it might have been because I posted this. Might have been. It might have been it. I don't know. It could have been any one of those things. I don't know. Anyway, the big joke. I saw a guy did a 15-minute video on this. Adam Kinzinger. He's in that Laura Logan video where he says he knows people and he'll do everything in their power to take Trump down. And of course, he didn't run for the re-election. He's leaving. He's already left the House. Former anti-Trump Rep Adam Kinzinger removes reposts listings for signed copies of January 6th. I got a clip of the article here. Where did I put that? Is this it? Let me see. Yeah. Former House Rep Adam Kinzinger, one of 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach former President DJT on charges of incitement and insurrection, removed and then reposted a listing from his Political Action Committee's website for signed copies of the now defunct January 6th Select Committee's final report. He was selling them for $100 a pop. The listing that appears on the website belongs to Country First, an Illinois-based PAC established by him in 2021, featuring the committee's final report, signed by Kinzinger, bound in book format and available for purchase for $100. You have to find out who bought that. Who are the people buying this and take their temperature or something, see what's wrong with them. If it's an organic physical problem. But here we go. This is where I have these articles. I couldn't find anything what was going on in Brazil, right? Nothing. Now that this big January 8th has happened, military intervention draft decree. Who incited Brazil's Capitol riot? Bolsonaro added to the probe. Brazil's Supreme Court to investigate Bolsonaro. CNN, New York Times, even the Christian Science Monitor. Bolsonaro faces investigation. Supreme Court investigating Bolsonaro over January 8th riots. And that goes on, on and on. Just when they got the narrative down, when they pulled their operation off, they told the news services after a month of silence, Brazil's new president faces scorched earth scenario. The value of what's destroyed is incalculable. Brazilian authorities assess artworks damaged, and as our guest told us yesterday, we know who is tearing stuff up. Brazil charges dozens in pro-Bolsonaro riots. Dozens. How about thousands? At the very least, hundreds. But we know it's in the thousands. My guest last night was putting himself in jeopardy. I didn't want to have a broadcast that had a dark air to it. But and I figured I'd make it clearer tonight that the young man that came on is putting himself in jeopardy, really. And we have to be very careful to go through surreptitious routes to be able to put up an interview. And they have control over the internet down there a lot more than they have. As bad as it is here in the U.S., they probably got control and monitoring that can rival China, okay? So I'm very proud of that young man for coming up, and I'm hoping that we can come up again. But you see how this is working. Let me see what this one is. You see how they are dead silent till they get their marching orders. Another slew of them. Lula to purge Bolsonaro loyalists from Brazilian security forces after rampage. Top Brazil court greenlights probe. Brazil top court to investigate Bolsonaro role. Bolsonaro's ex-justice minister arrested in Brazilian capital. Oh, the top justice guy? Maybe this is why I got took down. That's the top justice guy right there, egghead. Put some horns on his head, okay? Put some horns on his head. But that is the one that's running the country right now. And what I still contend is the method they're using to control our government through prosecutors and judges that are walking outside the bounds of the law. Now here you have Atlanta. They're going to riot down there, and they're all getting ready for it. And this is supposedly a school teacher who was the police, they put up pictures of him, I'm sure, of him when he was like 3 years old sitting in the bathtub. He's probably, 30 years old. And he had his fight back moment that got him in that trouble. But Atlanta they're losing their grip. They're losing their grip, just like we discussed with this person here who was running that political machine down there. So we'll see what comes of that. But they're pumping up riots, but that doesn't mean they're going to happen, right? And how many of y'all heard this? 90 counties rebel. This is states in shock as 80 state is in shock as an 88% of counties rebel, refuse to enforce ban on guns. That is the sheriffs, county sheriffs, that are making public statements that they're not going to enforce bans. And you can see the channel there if you want and watch the story for yourself. But I thought that was very interesting. But we got to be careful not to give them a reason. And I'm going to take a chance here and talk about something in a minute. Let me just clean these news articles up real quick. Oh boy, here's a good one. When they say crash and burn, Operation Crash and Burn, what do you think they mean? You think they mean for Joe to crash and burn? Let me just ask that question in the chats. Because you know what? There's a lot of things that can crash and burn. CIA head met secretly with Zelensky in Kyiv to warn about Russia's military plans. William Burns secretly visited Kiev and told Zelensky about the plans for the coming weeks and months. They also discussed the U.S. military's assistance to Kiev. The director acknowledged at some point the supply of weapons could be reduced due to a decrease in support among Americans. According to Washington Post sources, it is assumed that the support of Ukraine by the White House, despite the transition of the House of Representatives of Congress to the leadership of Republicans, will last until at least July or August. They're going to keep sending billions over there. But the real big problem that is being considered is actual military assistance by the U.S. to threaten Crimea with troops is being talked about. But also, they want to send heavy tanks. Germany is holding out. They don't want to send heavy tanks over there. They having people in Parliament stand up and say, look, we're not going to have German tanks fighting Russian tanks again like we did in World War II. So it's a hot button issue. But came down there, arrived in Ramstein, Germany, to pressure the Germans to give tanks, heavy tanks to Ukraine, and they're angling for Abrams tanks still to be sent down there. And I had an article I don't have in my studio where there were discussions. Let me see, I might have it in. There were discussions about actually being involved. Here we go. This is where the Ukrainians are retreating from the gains from that big offensive. And and they're losing. Washington Post is reporting they're losing 3 digits of men a day, namely in the hundreds every day. And I had some stuff I could have posted it, but I won't. Anyway, I don't have that article that discusses where we would actually kinetically threaten Crimea, taking Crimea from Russia. And that's going to be a problem. Because as Putin said, oh, here we go. U.S. this is from the New York Times. U.S. warms to helping Ukraine target Crimea. The Biden administration is considering the argument that Kiev needs the power to strike at the Ukrainian peninsula by Russia, annexed by Russia in 2014. U.S. is ready to help Ukraine attack Crimea. Hey, what did Trump say? That's a path to nuclear war. That and China. The article says from the very beginning of the war, Washington refused to provide Kiev with the weapons needed to strike at the Crimean Peninsula. Now in Washington, they believe the creation of a threat to Crimea can significantly strengthen Kiev's negotiating position. According to sources of the publication, the position of the United States began to change amid reduced fears about the use of tactical nuclear weapons by Russia in Ukraine in response. Why do they have a reduced fear of that? Putin said he's going to target decision-making centers. That mainly, I feel that means governments. And here, I'll play this again. For any hard-headed people that can't stand Trump, let me tell you, did a hell of a lot better job than what we're looking at now.
Our country's in trouble. Something has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, and if we don't have smart leadership, you're going to end up with no world. The world is going to be blown to pieces. We have stupid people now running our country. The world is going to be blown to pieces. Our country's in trouble. Something has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, and if we don't have smart leadership, you're going to end up with no world. The world is going to be blown to pieces. We have stupid people now running our country. The world is going to be blown to pieces.
Yep, I played it twice. Stupid people running the country, and the world is going to be blown to pieces. I don't know, what more people need to hear. Here we go. Did y'all see this one yet? There we go. When people are going to get it in their heads. So what's going on in the WEF? What's going on around the world? I don't know. What's it going to take to get it in their heads? Let's see. Now, I'm going to brush on this subject. I don't want to make anybody mad at me. Let me see what's going on in the chats. I hope everybody's doing all right. Hi, Wanda. Hi, honey. How you doing? Over in the UK. Yeah, Ron Paul, he hits the nail on the head, doesn't he? Hi, Patriot Starfighter. Hi, Reba. So let me see here. Let me get into this subject here. And I think it's very important that we talk about it. I got a clip that I decided I'm not going to play because it makes me sick. But how many people heard about this guy? Failed GOP candidate visited homes of New Mexico Democratic politicians dispute selection before shootings. What does anybody know about this person? Have you all heard about this guy? Well, I tell you, I could have got a clip where the media is going nuts about this person you see on the screen being tangled up with all of us. And what this person did was not very brilliant. And he's probably going to go to jail for a long, long time. I'm wondering if he's not an operative to make the movement look bad. You heard every term come out of the media about this. This story took over every news station. And I can tell you one thing. George Washington, if you wanted to help with the revolution, you had to sign up with the Continental Army. You had to be assigned to a unit. You had to have a commander. You had to train. You had to operate under the laws of war and a code of conduct. You had to answer. Okay? That, like in the movie Patriot, they went around to taverns and bars and they had people sign their name and join a lawful force. People who are talking about behaving in a manner that's outside of a lawful force. Let me tell you what would happen. If George Washington got a hold of some characters running around doing their own thing, they would be detained and tried as unlawful combatants, agent provocateurs, and they would get whatever consequence was coming to them, whether they said Yankee Doodle Dandy or whatever they said. If somebody wants to fight for an ideal, fight for their Constitution, fight for their country, they have got to sign up with a lawful authority. And for this person to run around, that's why I'm thinking this person, that's right, Pappy, two ears. I don't know a thing about him. I don't even know what he was running for. But after hearing those clips from the media, they lapped it up and they spread it around that we're all a bunch of crazies, just like they're doing in the Brazil media. And I can't believe that this person had enough sense about him to think that that was the right thing to do. And I could care less what happens to him. If he goes to jail for 50 years, I'm not going to cry the blues for him. I'm not going to cry the blues for him. I'll get back to that in a minute, but I'll see what the comments are on that. But anyway, this is a photo I didn't get put up about Soros not attending the World Economic Forum. They said scheduling conflict in this report. The Hungarian billionaire and Democratic donor took to his Twitter page for the first time. Hey, here's my screen. In over 2 years, boom, I'll just do this. Boom. In over 2 months to make the announcement. I forgot I had my little special effects bar there, marking the first time in 2 years the long-term Democratic voter will whatever. I mean, I heard he was afraid there was not enough security there. And guess who else didn't go? I might as well put this up. Two of the biggest fish didn't go. And I think that they were worried about getting picked up. I really do. I really think they were worried. This is such a sophisticated and worldwide operation. That, yes, I think the guy we just talked about who lost the race and did what he did, I think he was an operative. He may have been a MK person, ultra, okay? He may have been an MK person, an ultra person that was seeing a therapist, getting money, medicine. I mean, he may have been somebody that just crooked and said, hey, if you do this, we'll pay you a heck of a lot of money. Well, I hope they give him so much jail time, he'll be tripping over his beard before he can think about spending the money. But I'm sure they're going to check if anybody in his family got money or anything like that. Or he could actually be that damn stupid. I don't know. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Hi, Tobin. How you doing? Phil, how you doing? Yeah, Phil, the Supreme Court, Trump said what he would do. And tomorrow is they're going to do a thing for Diamond. Trump's going to attend. So I'm looking for that to be up on RSBN tomorrow night. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Pappy Two Bears. If he's an operative, he'd disappear. Well, he's not going to disappear from military intelligence, I can tell you that. I think we're going to be running into so many. Now, you all might have seen this. Here's what a citizen in Davos put up. As this was from Turning Point USA. A citizen in Davos hung this up on their rail. So there are people that live there year round. But I was thinking too, the Nuremberg trials. Do you know why they were held in Nuremberg? Let me see if anybody gets it in the chats. Or has what their thoughts are as to why they were held in Nuremberg. And why we call them the Nuremberg trials. Hi, Lele. I'll tell you why they call them Nuremberg trials. Because, and I've showed a video of it before, a big symbol, the swastika symbol, was up there. It was an auditorium. It was huge. You could have 100,000 people there do their demonstrations. They can make their speeches where everybody went to praise the party. That was where they were reveling in all their glory. And I got a video of that symbol being blown up by Allied forces. And they held those trials in their own backyard, in their own party spot, so to speak. So I was thinking maybe Davos is where we'll have these trials. That's what I'm hoping. One of the locations where they like to talk about how great they are and what they're going to make us do. Here's a touchy one. Leave it up there long enough for you guys to get a screenshot. Hi, Roy. So anyway, here's a video if you guys want to, if you got any friends who are sitting on the fence and wondering about this stuff, might want to check this video out. And I put up things, before that show what happens, a tragic ending. And you see that young person there, beautiful young person. Okay. And you can watch the video yourself. Into the Shadows. It's 14 minutes, 45 seconds long. And this needs to, as far as I'm concerned, this needs to go to people who don't think this is a problem. We had somebody in the chats one time said, I send my kid to public schools. You're making a big deal out of something that's not a big deal. I don't know. Some of you may remember that. And I got back and forth with him. Now, these people like that need to see this. But it's not just that one beautiful young child there. It's thousands and thousands of them. So that's one you might want to look up and spread around and share it with people who are open-minded enough. Now, I'll put this one up. People like this one. CHYNA. That's the way he says it. Ha ha. So, yeah, share that video around. It makes me sick to even think about it. And when I get into that subject, I get in trouble. Now I have two other things that I was subject I will bring up, but I'm almost at the hour mark. I can get into it in the next broadcast. I'll just put up a couple of memes. Now I'm gonna put up one that's I can put up real quick. I can't leave it up very long. Okay, you'll see why. But we're at the 40-second mark. You can come back and take a screenshot. I'll just leave it up for a few seconds. Long enough to take a screenshot or come back and take a screenshot. Okay, you get the point. I've also got that one posted on my Truth Social. Back or miss a point, you can always come back. Let me see. I'm getting quiet when I'm reading the chats. They shut down the center that was pushing that into Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine. UK. Okay, honey, that's good news. I mean, there's going to be lawsuits flying about this. And I think the strategy should be, as we're going through this, we're peeling this Band-Aid off real slow. Sue the bejabbers out of them. And then hit them with a hammer. As far as criminal charges, take all their assets where it's due, where they should lose their assets. These young people that are like, wait, what did you all do to me when I was 12? They should be allowed to sue and clean them out. Then go, okay, now that that's taken care of, we'll go ahead and lock your backside up. So that's going to be happening. So, let's see. Here we go. I'll close out with this young lady here from Australia. I had a couple of people sign up with me from Australia. And I say, welcome aboard. I got people from Canada, people from the United Kingdom. Of course, our South American friends. We're getting a lot of people coming in, so I appreciate everybody who's liked, shared, and subscribed. So anyway, I'm going to play this video. I got a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Anybody wants to help the channel out. So I'll go ahead and play this video. And y'all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
To happen in the US political system, the Russia collusion hoax. The false claims that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia in order to influence the 2016 federal election was a fall from grace by the mainstream media. He writes about Republican voters saying, nor were they impressed by Trump critics who had their own penchant for hypocrisy and outright slander, To this day, precious few anti-Trumpers have been honest with themselves about the elaborate hoax. There's just no other word for it. That was the Steele dossier and all the bogus allegations credulously parroted in the mainstream media that flowed from it.